Hey, it's E.B. Moss, and this is a bonus episode of Insider Interviews with media, marketing, and advertising experts. And the expert you're getting today is me. I just wanted to talk a little bit about something that I observed recently over the weekend, the Memorial Day weekend, and some of the marketing hits and misses that I saw while on vacation because, you know, there's no rest for the weary. There's no vacation for a marketer. It started when I went to visit a friend of mine, the daughter of a very famous marketing strategist, Jack Trout. And you might be familiar with the book, The 22 Immutable Laws of Marketing. Well, it was a rainy weekend in the Hamptons, and we strolled Main Street, and we came across a place that served her favorite coffee, Jack's Coffee. And yet there was a sign over the door of this one-time coffee shop that said Fresh Direct on Main Street. We're like, what? Well, we still need coffee. Okay, we'll go in. And there at the door was a wonderful greeter, kind of like a Walmart greeter, but classy, with a nice gray beard and holding a cup of that coffee in his hand and said, "Hey, welcome to Fresh Direct." And we're like, wait, what? We wanted Jack's Coffee, not Jackson. But it turned out that he is the CMO of Fresh Direct and had this brilliant idea to do a pop-up location on Main Street to grow awareness for the fact that Fresh Direct is now available doing delivery in the Hamptons and in the Jersey Shore. I don't know if there's going to be a pop-up in Wildwood or not, but we'll find out. Anyway, I thought it was pretty interesting that they kind of tricked out the front of this store with all kinds of fresh produce. They had their variety of pastas and tomato sauces. They had spices. They had a dairy section with my favorite sheep's milk in oil cheese. It was great. It was sort of like the country grocery store, as it might look in a Hamptons beach town that's kind of upscale. But his whole idea was, again, to create awareness for now delivery available in the Hamptons, but also experiential, hands-on of what their produce really looks like and, you know, the quality of it. So people were able to go in and not just, you know, squeeze the melons, as they say, but purchase Fresh Direct items IRL at a brick and mortar instead of delivery. So I think it helped build trust and that awareness, but kind of got to sample the goods. And I do mean sample the goods because they gave out mini loaves of banana chocolate chip bread, which was great with the Fresh Direct brand on it. So you got to buy and try. So it was really successful. But one of the conversations that Joanna and I had with Jackson, and I discovered that we had 305 people in common on LinkedIn, so relationship building, was that there was very little signage in the front of that grocery location. And to him, it was intentional. Jackson didn't want to hit you over the head with branding and marketing. He just wanted you to walk in, experience the quality, be able to pick up a few things, and create trust and build relationships with the Fresh Direct brand. And he gave out some coupons too for bounce back. So that was good. My point of view was that it needed a little bit more branding. It needed a little bit more communication of the value proposition, maybe something that would entice more people in. Yes, it was a huge banner over the door, but I felt like the inside needed a little bit more communication too. But it was a great experience. And yes, the produce was really good. I bought some. Now, the reason why I brought up Jack Trout is because the second immutable law of marketing is basically to own your own category, develop a new category if need be. So the interesting kind of through line here is that Jackson used to work at AB InBev, as in Anheuser-Busch. And in that second law of Marketing, Jack Trout, cites Anheuser-Busch and their effort to compete with what had been the one high-end beer in the U.S., which was Heineken. That had been positioned as high-quality imported beer. So Anheuser-Busch created high-quality, high-priced Michelob as a stateside beer instead of an imported beer. So they created a new category of high-end beer to compete with the import category, if that makes sense. So I thought it was interesting that there's Fresh Direct trying to create a category of quality food delivery and distinguish itself from the mind of a guy who used to work at Anheuser-Busch. So that's the overlap there. Now, the other thing is market thyself and stand out and communicate your value proposition in a unique way. That did not happen at a fun event that we went to later that night. It was the Rosé Soirée. And, you know, when you're in the Hamptons, you drink a lot of rosé, right? Well, at this event at the beautiful Southampton Arts Center, there were about 20 different booths pouring unlimited tastes of rosé. Well, that part was fun. But although each of them received a logo on the Dan's Taste website promoting this event, there was no real connection of what distinguished one rosé from the other, unless you were a greeter like Jackson was at the Fresh Direct location, and the person pouring the samples actually explained, this is from California, this is from France, this is sparkling, this is not. You were just getting a pour, and throwing them back. So I found it amiss that these wonderful wine companies didn't take the opportunity to hand out something that was branded, perhaps an alcohol. You can't really do a bounce back coupon, but you could have had more complete signage. Most of them just had like a little easel back card on their table where they were pouring their wine. And it really didn't help me distinguish which one I liked, how to remember that one, what their points of differentiation were. So that was too bad. And same thing for Wilmington Trust, which was the title sponsor. Now they have signage on all of the Dan's Taste events, so that's great. And their logo was on the little glass that you were given that said Rosé Soirée, sponsored by Wilmington Trust, da, da, da. But again, I didn't really observe any offers, anything from that title sponsor. What was odd, the one doing any kind of handout or swag, when you walked in and you got your little glass with the Rosé Soirée logo on it, you also got a sample of hair product from Miss Jessie for curly hair. So I liked that. I didn't quite understand the presence of a hair product at the Rosé Soirée. Smart on them for targeting a more upscale audience, I guess, who might purchase their product and get samples in the hands of hundreds of people there. And we all carried logoed bags around that said Miss Jessie and put our little glass in there along with curly hair product. Joanne gave me hers because she has straight hair, so I benefited twice. So people should have taken a page from Miss Jessie and handed out something memorable, some kind of product. And B, some should have had a little QR code, for example, that would allow you to link through to the vineyard or share information about how rosé is made or something that would communicate more about their distinctive wine versus the 19 other vineyards that were there. Now, I will add one more PS that happened right after the Memorial Day weekend, and that was another pop-up that happened at Grand Central Station. This was sponsored by Cognitive, an AI platform, and it was focused on creating awareness for two things. They've used their AI to create a website focused on positive news called More Positive, and it was Mental Health Awareness Month. You could dedicate a flower to a positive thought and take home some seedlings that would remind you of positive news long into the future. So cheers to you, Cognitive, for making things a little bit more positive. Now, I've got a few more details about this memorable Memorial Day marketing in my new newsletter. It's available on Substack. It's called Moss Hysteria by me, Moss Appeal, and you can get it for free, but I would love if you would subscribe. I'll add a link here in the show notes. Anyway, I hope you had a memorable Memorial Day weekend, and let's all take some time off.